Wow, we're here in beautiful Ojai, California with the lovely and talented Angela Stokes, and we're so excited to be spending time with her. We're going to talk a little bit about some amazing changes she's made in her health with raw foods, but first I want to just say welcome and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, an incredible story that you have. Will you tell us a little bit about how you found out about raw foods and how raw foods changed your health?
Sure, yeah. Well, I used to be nearly 300 pounds, and raw foods came into my life via the book Raw Family by the Botenkos. A friend lent me that book back in 2002 now, so like 7.5 years ago. She lent me the book, and I read the whole thing in one night and went raw the next morning.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was the kind of person who couldn't walk past a fast food place prior to that. You know, I was seriously toxic in my intake, in my thinking, in my whole way of life.
What do you suppose in that book sparked you in such a powerful way?
I feel it was the testimony. You know, it's like a real family's testimony of the shifts that they went through when they went raw. And so many amazing things happened in their lives, you know, their whole reality shifted. And at that point, when I was reading that, you know, my reality felt like something that I really wasn't very excited about. And reading this book, it just felt like it totally resonated with me as truth.
Yes.
Like there's just nothing to question about. You know, there's no pharmaceutical company sitting on top of this making money out of me becoming a raw foodist. It's just simple, it's natural, and it's life transformative. And I had nothing to lose at that point but 160 pounds and a miserable lifestyle. So I was really excited to try it out.
And you made it, that's a profound decision to the next day, you just did it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what happened after that.
I stayed 100% raw for 1 week. It was way too intense for me at that point.
Yes.
Nearly 300-pound body.
Yes.
The detox I was triggering was enormous. And, you know, I'll spare you the details, but I had stuff coming out of every possible orifice. I was, you know, totally foggy and skewed and very, very messed up with all the detox. So I knew I didn't want to come off the path. I felt like this was the path I wanted to be on, but it was too intense right then. So I took a step back to being about 70-80% raw, and that's what I stayed with for the first couple of years, actually.
Wow.
And that was plenty for me. You know, that was it was fast enough for someone that's coming from a 300-pound body to go through.
Will you tell us, to whatever extent you feel comfortable, what your diet consisted of before you started doing a raw food diet?
Yeah, my intake before going raw was enormous. It was primarily refined and processed foods, and literally thousands and thousands of calories a day. I mean, no concept of boundaries. I was completely emotionally involved with food, compulsive eating. I would get up in the morning and have, you know, maybe 2 rounds of fried bacon and egg sandwiches on white bread with margarine, and then, you know, lunch would be 2 massive plates of pasta followed by cakes and cookies and hot chocolate. Same kind of thing in the evening, snacks in between. I thought salads were just completely ridiculous. You know, why would someone eat something like that? I was basically eating myself into the grave.
And how old were you then?
At my biggest point, I was 21. That's
So
when
young.
I was nearly 300 pounds. Yeah, I was 21.
And do you attribute the addictive nature of those foods to what you went through? Because some of those foods are very addictive. Or what do you associate with that time in your life?
Yeah, definitely the physiological addiction to those highly processed foods was a huge part of the picture. And also emotionally, I just have become so involved with food, because the way I look at my history now with hindsight, it all began with my thyroid. My thyroid went underactive when I was 11. So that triggered the weight gain. Prior to that, I was very healthy, very fit, fastest runner in my school, you know, I was very slim. Then the weight gain began, and I got into this vicious circle. So I was gaining weight, I didn't want to be as active, so I was gaining more weight, got into, you know, relying on food as my crutch in life, and I see it as like I was shutting down my communication channel, you know, shutting down my willingness to connect with other people, going very internal, and my relationship with food became like the strongest relationship in my life. I didn't care about people, they were like an annoyance, you know, I just wanted to eat all the time. If I read my diaries from those days, it's like, who wrote this stuff, you know? I was so toxic, I was angry with everybody, everything was an annoyance, I just wanted to eat. And, you know, my life now is so completely different that it's...
How is it different now? How would you say? I mean, you seem so happy, so joyful, and my experience of meeting you today is that you're very much at peace.
Thank you. Yeah, that's how it feels, you know, I feel so much genuine connection and love and compassion and flow in my life now, you know, like before everything felt difficult and negative and annoying, and now it's like, it's joyous to be here, you know, and I love the path that I'm on, and I feel so blessed and so grateful that this path was open to me, because I seriously wonder if I'd still even be here if I was eating the way that I was. You know, I was pretty much eating myself into the grave, and it's been a huge blessing to me, this path, for sure.
Tell us about the progression of the weight loss, how your life began to change, and how you made a career out of teaching people about live foods.
My weight loss was very rapid in the beginning. In my first year on this path, I released 105 pounds.
And we should pause and say, I love that you say released, because not everybody likes to lose things, so it's a lovely way of expressing, and that is an incredible amount of weight to lose in a year.
Yeah, it was so fast, you know, it was like I could look in the mirror and see the changes every day. Like, I have a collarbone. This was my first revelation. Like, wow, you know, I hadn't seen this thing for like 15 years or something. I have ribs. I have a skeleton. It was just, that alone was amazing to me. And within 2 years, all of the excess weight was gone. So
within 2 years.
160 pounds within 2 years.
Amazing.
So it was very fast, and then it was a little bit slower, and it's completely stayed off. Ever since it came off, it stayed off, which, from what I hear, is very unusual in terms of people who release large amounts of weight usually gain it back plus some, like 90% of people or something. So, yeah, it was, I mean, that was just the physical, you know,
yes.
On every other level